they also carry a lot of weight. So you need a ceiling that will have less weight to counter the weight that is on the roof.
So to talk ceiling, we must talk roofing.
Yes.
The type of roof determines the type of ceiling?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay, you are talking of weight and ceilings. How does it affect the rest of the house?
Remember, the structure itself, the building, whether a home, a shop, or whatever building it is, its structure is built, it has a capacity of load it can carry up. If you don't have beams, if you have any metal on it, it would be important to put lightweight up. That is for the roof and for the ceiling, so that the walls are not overloaded.
You've mentioned 2 types of ceiling. Is that it?
There are not 2 types. There are very many types of ceilings. There's gypsum ceiling, which is calcium sulfate. It's a prefabricated board made with that calcium sulfate. Looks like chalk. So that is a type of board, but there's many other types of ceilings. There are other modern ways of having a ceiling on your roof. The suspended ceiling, these are modern types. They are ceiling tiles. Some of them are also made of calcium sulfate, others are made out of fiber. So they are square in shape. They are tiles of 62 feet by 2 feet, and you lay them up. They are PVC. PVC is a material kind of plastic. It's waterproof. You put it up. It also looks good aesthetically. We have our normal plywoods, those traditional plywoods. People use that. There are also other types of boards that are like ceiling boards made of particle. It's like sawdust that is put together, compressed with glue and a very high pressure. You can also use that. Then we have our traditional mesh that people put up there. They cross timber up there and then they put a mesh and then cement. So that's also another type of ceiling you can use. Then we talked about the slab. If you have cement, you lay a slab up there. So it can also be a ceiling. So all those are different types of ceilings.
Now, talking deco.
Yeah.
I've seen some ceilings that look like bricks, or some ceilings that look like wood. Like, how do you choose what ceiling to match with the rest of the house? Okay,
as I said, there are few factors you could consider. First would be your budget, how much are you willing to spend. Then number 2, it would also be the structure itself, like the walls, because you may choose an option that is too heavy. I've seen ceilings collapse, especially like those heavy ones. The mesh with cement, it is usually very heavy. So if your house is very wide and it was not roofed very well, it may be too heavy for the structure. So you may need a lighter option, which would bring in the gypsum ceiling, which would be lighter. PVC would also be lighter. Suspended ceiling would also be lighter. PVC are those ones that you are saying that they look like wood. Even wood itself, it can also be ceiling. You get wood and they do nice designs on it and do nice finishing. It can also be a good ceiling.
Talking gypsum, does it come after the other types have been put? Because I've seen houses that were already complete and someone comes in to put gypsum.
That's the advantage of gypsum. Gypsum, you can fix it at any time. Even if you had an option before, probably your building has a slab up, you can fix gypsum. If you had put the mesh and cement, you can still put gypsum. The advantage of gypsum, you can fix it at any given time, even if you are previously occupying, and then it takes a short time to install. Number 3, it is easy to work with. You can make any structure out of it. If you want oval, if you want square shape, if you want round, if you want rectangle, hexagon, you can make it whatever you want. So it is easy to work with. That's why it is common.
What can I say? how does it add beauty to a house? Is it the lighting or the shaping of it?
Gypsum by itself, it is appealing. Whether you make it plain, because I've seen plain designs that look very good, and it also works well with other decorational things. For example, if you don't want to paint and you want to do wallpaper, it will work well with it. If you don't want to paint it and you want to have lights on it, in terms of changing the color, you can have it white and have colored lights on it, and it will look nice. So the reason why gypsum is widely used, because it is easy to work with.
Does it come in different colors?
It comes,
or you paint
you
it?
paint it to what you want. It is just plain, because when you join it, you put filler on it, and after putting filler, then you sand the filler and then you paint the color of your choice.
What other decoration materials or decoration things can we use for the ceiling to change the appearance of a space?
There are things like chandeliers, there are lights, there are hangings you can put up there, decorational hangings. I've seen people do art. They get like bottles, either soda or beer or something, and they make very nice lamps out of them, and they look very appealing. So it is very easy to work with a ceiling that is already installed, because you just change the accessories that you add.
So do those things mentioned work with any type of ceiling or specifically with gypsum?
Yes. For example, let me give you an example of the lighting. Lights, they are what we call spotlights. Spotlights, it may be very hard to put on a ceiling that has mesh, because first and foremost, cutting through it, you weaken it. Then number two, it is also tedious because it may not come out so smart. And then also strip lights may not go very well, because like when you get a strip light is a light type of light that is long, like a string. So it may not be hidden. When you put it in gypsum, you are able to hide it. All you see is light that is coming out. But if it's on such a ceiling as that is made of mesh or plywood, it may be hard to hide it. Then also when it comes to a slab, that slab when it's up there, it's hard to do designs on it. Though you can, but it's easier when you're using gypsum and more cost effective than when you're dealing with a slab.
Is gypsum for sitting rooms only and dining, or it can be used in the bedrooms and other places?
The advantage gypsum has, you can use it in any space, anywhere. You can even use it in the bathroom. That is how beautiful it is.
Really?
So there are gypsums that are waterproof, and then if you use them with tiles, you can use them with other materials to make them water resistant, and they work. If you go to countries where they are not, they don't have natural resources like us. For us, we have a lot of sand and clay and make bricks and blocks and all those things. In other nations, they don't have such. And what do? They use gypsum. They use gypsum for their walls. They can use brick and mortar for the outside wall, but inside to partition the house.
Oh, you can use gypsum too.
To partition the walls. So it is, which is even cheaper. It is more cost effective and faster. So it is very, very versatile in terms of the range of things that you can do. You can use it even to make cupboards.
Can you use it in commercial spaces?
Yes, it is widely used in commercial spaces. It is very widely used in shops. Even most of the buildings you see in town, most of them, they utilize gypsum boards. First partition, also in their ceilings. It is very widely used in commercial spaces.
Okay, before we go for our break, I wanted to ask, in terms of decoration from the ceiling, what type of light works for the sitting room and for the dining and kitchen, and what effect does it have on the beauty of a house?
Thank you, Catherine, for the question. With lights, as technology has advanced, we have lights also that have been manufactured to suit aesthetic needs of a particular space. For example, there are chandeliers. If a few years ago, some time ago, chandeliers were, some of them never used to light. Now we have chandeliers that light, and they can work. Depending on the size of the space, you can have a chandelier for the sitting room or the dining, or you can also have it for a master bedroom. But the chandelier for the sitting room may not be the same as the one for the bedroom in terms of shape and everything. Then also there are LED lights that change color. You find one light, it can give you up to 5 colors. It can light daylight is that white light. It can light warm, medium warm. It can change to blue or green or red. So each time you switch off the light and then switch it on, it gives you a different color. Then, so those are aesthetics you can utilize. Instead of having 20 bulbs, one is red, one is green, you can have that. And these days people even use lights for theme for the house. You may just paint plain white, and then you have lights that will change the color to what you want.
Thank you so much, Michael. We are going to take a very short break and we will be back. Did you know the ceiling has so much content? Ladies and gentlemen, see you in a short while. Welcome back from that very brief break. I'm sure you're enjoying talking ceiling. We continue with the topic of ceilings, and now we are going to go practical, looking at a house, one of these houses being built on the plots like mentioned in the previous episode. We want to look at the ceiling and why this choice of ceiling and how much it would cost for you to have your ceiling looking this beautiful and what else you can do with it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and over to you, Michael. Take us through.
Thank you, Catherine. As we were talking before, this is an example of gypsum ceiling. The good thing with this type of ceiling, it has insulative element. It insulates above the ceiling is iron sheets.
Okay.
And as we said, iron sheets, they absorb a lot of heat. So that heat, if it comes to the inside the house, it becomes unbearable. And again, when it's cold, it's the same thing. When the iron sheets absorb a lot of coldness, they allow a lot of coldness to come in the house, it becomes also unbearable. So you want a house that is habitable.
Oh yeah.
Where you can be comfortable.
Where we don't need an AC.
Yes, because we are talking about green building. So you want a house where you use minimum resources. You don't want to build a house and then you find yourself, it's too hot, you need to get an AC, or it's too cold, you need to get a warmer. So those are all factors. So gypsum helps you to achieve that. On top of that, this ceiling also has what we call fiber wool. Okay. Fiber wool, which it's also something to insulate. So it gives a second layer of insulation. That's why it is a little chilly outside, but you don't feel.
Is it right after the other ceiling, or it's purely gypsum?
It's in between, it's just above the gypsum. So with insulation, insulation becomes more efficient when you create more layers. Oh, okay. So the more the layers, because heat, you deter heat from crossing from one layer to the next layer, to the next layer. So there is a layer of glass wool up there. Then after the glass wool is when you find the gypsum ceiling. Okay. Now the gypsum ceiling here, this is a minimalist theme. It is just flat, with that allowance for the strip light. The space you see all around is an allowance for strip light. Then there's a modern way whereby we give an allowance for curtain rods.
Okay.
So for curtains, you don't have to have the curtain rods being seen when people are inside the sitting room. So in this scenario, the curtains will be in there and they'll be like they are hidden up in the ceiling.
Part of
all
the
you
beauty.
see, yes, all you see will be the curtains coming down. You don't see where they are coming from.
Wow.
So that is one of the advantages of using gypsum ceiling.
Okay.
So that is what you can do. Also, because of the room size, the room is not very big. It's 4.5 by 4.5. This is the living area. And since the room is not so big, you can't do so many things because it will look congested.
Okay.
That's why they broke the monotony of plainness with a simple chandelier. A simple chandelier over here. And at the same time, we use the same gypsum that is running from up for the TV area. This is, when you look at this, it's also gypsum boards.
So as you work on the ceiling, you work on this too?
You also covered this. You can see how gypsum looks like. This part is still under construction. So that is how it looks like. And it also has an allowance of lighting. If you look at it, there are lights inside there, so that you put inside there and you can't see them.
I see some sort of a net running.
Yes, that net is used on the joints so that the joints don't crack, and also to conceal where the joints are done. So the net, it's called a joint tape. It's where the two boards join. So you put the net and then you put the filler.
And then I see also small sort of lights. Are these lights inside?
Yes, those are lights. It's part of the design for aesthetics.
Okay.
Those lights, when the power is connected, they light, and they have 5 different colors. Wow. They have blue, they have warm, they have daylight, they have green, and they have gold.
Who changes the color?
So the light changes itself. You just switch it off, and then when you switch on, you go to color 1. You switch off, and you switch it on again. You go to color 2 up to color 5.
Okay.
So there are 5 levels. So you, instead of painting, now instead of having the place painted, maybe you wanted gold, then again you also wanted some blue somewhere, you wanted some, instead of having all those colors, you bring that element out with the lighting. Okay.
So what else is happening around here?
This living room is a minimalist one. So you just have a plain gypsum ceiling with an allowance of strip lighting and a simple chandelier, and that's all.
And now, how much
with
this cost?
The average cost for gypsum is between 100,000 and 150,000 per square meter.
How many square meters are these?
So
like,
this around
what's the
17.
cost of this?
This area, if you include the lights and everything, it could be around 4 million.
Wow.
Around this area.
When you said 100,000, I thought it's affordable.
It's per square meter. So that is inclusive of the lights. But if you don't want the lights, and the good thing with gypsum, you can work on it in phases. You can first do the gypsum and you leave it, and then at a later stage you do the lighting. Because you just do the wiring and you leave it there. When you get money to buy the lights, because also lights is also a big cost for that.
The sitting room alone, including this TV area, cost you like 4 million?
The cost would be around 4 million.
Okay. Let's look at also that we are going to go to the dining area. We are still talking ceiling. As you see, there is someone already working on the gypsum. The color, why did you choose white? Because when we entered this house, we realized you don't need so much light. There's enough daylight in the house. So I'm wondering, is that because of the color choice or?
The project, as you see it, is still work in progress. It's going on. So this is not paint yet. This is undercoat. This is the initial coat you put before now you put the actual color that you're going to choose.
Does the choice of color of ceiling affect the rest of the?
Yes, yes, it does, because if you do dull colors, you'll need a lot of lighting for the house.
Okay.
So if this house was painted another color, it would not be very it would not have as much light as you see right now.
Okay.
So the brighter the color you put up there, the better you'll have the natural light reflecting in the rest of the house. But you may find you can put a color up there that will require you to have lights on even during the day.
Does it also affect the final color of the floor?
Yes, yes, if you want a well-coordinated house, every item that you choose must go with the others. For example, you may choose a color for the tiles that may not blend well with what is on the walls and may not blend well with the type of sofas that you have.
Okay.
This is an open kitchen setup.
Okay.
Whereby that is a kitchen and this other side is a dining. In here we have what we call a kitchen island.
Okay.
An island. So if you look at this, the gypsum comes and demarcates the design. Comes and demarcates what is kitchen,
okay,
what is island, and what is dining area.
Does this mean they are all different lights?
So
or?
they are. These ones are, the lights here are the same, but around the strip light is what is going to differentiate the mood of the. So that is the beauty of working with different items or materials, because now when you have that, instead of separating them, maybe by paint or demarcating with a wall, then you'll just change the lights.
Oh, you're saying that the light can actually do the demarcating?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
You can have a different light in the kitchen and a different light in the sitting room.
So I see there are no chandeliers in this space.
Yeah,
all the lights are flat and looking the same.
Now, with this area, especially around the kitchen island, you can have pendant lights. Those lights that are falling off. You can also do a chandelier. You can also do pendant lights for the dining area, and also, but the client, for them, they opted for a minimalist. It's a minimalist design.
Okay.
They don't want too flashy, so many things. Because also, I think it's also guided by the budget. Because the more flashy,
fear of the chandelier falling in their food.
Not falling in the food, but also you may find the person doesn't really fancy too many of them at the same time.
Talking of falling chandeliers, I've seen that. Like, how do you ensure that they are safe up there?
The workmanship, that's why we say you need to get a proper workman for the job. You anchor it. There's what we call anchoring. So if your building, if your roof where you're going to hang a chandelier is a slab, it can be anchored easily on the slab. Okay. If you don't have a slab up there, it's probably timber. You need to have a dedicated piece either of timber or metal up there just for the chandelier, anchored. It doesn't do any other work. It was just meant for that. Okay. Because a chandelier, depending on the size, some of them are very heavy. So you may give it, you may just decide to tie it on gypsum board and it's heavier than the board.
Yes.
So that's why it falls off. So it also depends on the workman. The person who is going to do it, it's good to get someone who really knows what they're doing.
As we move to the bedrooms, I realize it's the first time I'm seeing in the kitchen, the curtains also hanging up there.
Yes.
Normally in the kitchen, the curtains are so low, so brief. But this is a wide range that covers also the door.
So that's also a design. If you look at this, the entire house, all the curtains are hidden. They are it's like they are coming from the ceiling, falling down. They're like theater curtains that come from above and fall off. So here you will not find curtain rods hanging all over the wall. So
what happens with this space?
Now
will
this
the
space,
curtains be shorter?
The curtains for here, in fact, it's not necessarily curtains. You may also use blinds.
Okay.
You can either use roller blinds, or you can also roller blinds are those ones that roll from up to down.
Yes, as you have had to do a ceiling, you need to look at your type of roofing. You need to count the cost. You need to look at the colors. You need to also remember where you are when thinking about decoration. Is it the sitting room, the bedroom, or the dining, or the kitchen? It's been nice hanging out with you. See you next time.